Hi everyone. As you may see on the slides, my name is Philipp Vicenti from the Institute of Digitalization of Application and Living Domains at the University of Applied Science and Arts in Dortmund. In this short presentation, I want to talk about model-driven software engineering. So let's go. This presentation starts with a short excursus on how the whole human cognitive process functions in general. The next part focuses on model-driven software engineering, how it works and why it is beneficial in the software engineering process. The presentation concludes with the research topic which are located in our Mozilla Hubs rooms and at the live demonstration. So let's begin with the human cognitive process. So when it comes to sensing the environment around us, we constantly pre-perceive it. In this process, the human mind makes various abstractions to cope with the enormous information recognized by our sensory organs. One part of the abstraction process is called generalization, in which the human mind generalizes specific features of the real world, for example, the color of the floor. If we will take a closer look, we will see that the floor consists of maybe more than 100 different colors. But if we just take a brief look at it, we will only see a single color, like gray, for example. The second part of abstraction deals with classification of particular objects, like cars. When we see a car independent from its type, our mind automatically identifies the object as a car, even if we have never seen this specific car before. Last but not least, our mind also does some kind of aggregation in the process of abstraction. If we see objects of the real world like leaves or branches, this information is automatically associated with a tree, for example. After talking about how human perception works, let us link this information to the model-driven software engineering process. With the use of models, we want to use a similar mechanism of abstraction to reduce the complexity of the software system. For this purpose, we use models to have a specific abstracted representation of a real-world object defined to accomplish a specific task. Let's continue with the model-driven software engineering part of the presentation. Let us start with the definition of a model. A model is an abstraction of a specific aspect of the real world, which exists for a given purpose, for example, the testing of the stability of a bridge. Furthermore, the model has three different paradigms which characterize the model. The mapping paradigm defines that the model always has a corresponding original in the real world. The reduction paradigm addresses the abstraction of the model and that only selected properties of the real-world object are transferred to the model. The pragmatic paradigm says that the model must represent the real object in some helpful way. In general, the purpose of a model is twofold. It can have some descriptive purpose by describing specific aspects of the real world, for example, the structure of a software system or its behavior. Hence, the model can also fulfill a prescriptive purpose by determining the actual scope of a problem, like the failing stability of a poorly engineered bridge or the failing of a poorly engineered software system. In model-driven software engineering, we can use the models in different ways. One of these possibilities is to use them as drafts. They can improve the reasoning possibilities about the software architecture and increase the understanding of the developers about it. Another possibility is that models also can be used as guidelines that serve as documentation or as software design, which can be used as a basis for the implementation. Furthermore, models can also function as programs. They provide the possibility, for example, code generation to facilitate the software development process. In this, the models act as first-class artifacts in the software engineering process. Now let's take a closer look at the possibilities when we use models as programs. First, we can use them to perform static analysis. This is particularly helpful to identify problems or misbehavior of the implementation of the software system even before all features are implemented. This can save time in the implementation process and save money because bugs can lead to quite expensive errors. Models can also be used for rapid prototyping. In this process, we use models to represent a specific part of the system to test it. By doing so, this system prototype can be built faster to save time in the development process because it contains only a specific part of the system. When we integrate models in the software development process, they can serve for code generation purpose. Specific parts of the source code are automatically generated in this process. This can lead to improved code quality and faster implementation speed. Testing is an important task in the software engineering process, which can improve the quality of the software system and reduce the number of bugs. When this technique is used in combination with models, failure can be identified even before the implementation of the software, and this can again save time in the whole development process. However, models can also be used for refactoring or transformation purpose. By refactoring the software to increase its quality, models automate certain aspects by providing transformation, for example, by switching the programming language or integrating some new framework into the software. But to be honest, this is a quite complex process which needs some manual help too. Lastly, models can also serve as documentation artifacts to reason about the software architecture, to improve the understanding, or to ease the integration of a new software developer into the development team, because he can take a look at the actual representation of certain aspects of the software. In the contribution of Jonas Sorgalla and myself, there are two separate ones, we address a few of those possibilities like code generation or documentation of the software system specifically. Now let's continue with the contribution to the Dart Symposium 2020 contribution. Earlier this year, we published a journal paper titled Applying Model-Driven Engineering to Simulate the Adoption of DevOps in Small and Medium-Sized Development Organization in the Springer Link Journal. The Dart contribution relates to this research. Jonas talks in his contribution about how development teams can share the design of their microservices by using models and use them as some kind of documentation artifact. My contribution addresses the generation of container-based deployments using an ecosystem of microservice-oriented modeling languages. It can be found on the left or right side of this video in form of a poster. So, thank you for your attention. On this slide are the references I used in my presentation. And if you have any questions, ask me in Mozilla Hubs or at the live event. Bye.